War came for Ukrainian civilians with a vicious, chilling precision. Russia unleashed a massive coordinated barrage of missiles and drones, not against military targets, but against residential areas and critical infrastructure. Their goal was pure terror, to weaponize the coming winter and shatter the will of the people. The most horrific strike tore through the city of Dnipro. A Russian drone slammed directly into a 9-story apartment building as families slept inside. The explosion ripped through the floors, killing innocent people instantly and trapping others in a nightmare of fire and rubble. This was a calculated act of state terror, a clear message from Moscow: there will be no mercy. But Kyiv's response was immediate, strategically brilliant, and financially devastating. Within hours of the attack on Dnipro, Ukraine unleashed its own barrage. But this wasn't revenge against civilians. This was a surgical strike against the very economic engines that fueled Putin's war machine. Ukraine's targets were high value and far from the front lines. Major Russian oil refineries and energy hubs, hundreds of miles inside Russian territory. This wasn't random shelling. It was a sophisticated campaign designed to make the financial cost of the war boomerang directly back to the Kremlin's treasury. Every dollar Russia spends on a terror drone would now be measured against the cost of a paralyzed refinery. The first wave of Ukrainian drones struck deep, hitting the Sterlitamak petrochemical plant in Bashkortostan and the Saratov oil refinery. These aren't just industrial sites, they are vital cogs in the attacks. Despite all of Russia's claims about increased security, the drones are getting through with near-perfect reliability. Ukraine has achieved a form of military-economic dominance over Russia's rear, turning its most vital energy assets into recurring, easy targets. The brilliance of this counterstrike lies in how it mirrors and subverts Russia's own failed strategy. Ukraine is also weaponizing winter, but it's doing so by attacking the energy sources that supply Russia's military and industry. In the same hours the refinery strikes, drones targeted the major oil export infrastructure at the Tuapse port on the Black Sea and critical energy facilities across the Volgograd region. Russia's immense, sprawling energy grid is simply too vast and too poorly defended to withstand this kind of sustained, asymmetric attack. For every apartment block Russia destroys, Ukraine now forces Moscow to make an impossible choice. The Kremlin must now pull its most expensive and capable air defense systems, like the long-range S-400s and the Pantsir S-1s, away from the front lines. Instead of protecting troops, these systems are being redeployed hundreds of miles inland to guard aging oil refineries. This strategic depletion of air defense on the front lines creates gaping, exploitable holes for Ukrainian forces. It leaves Russian supply lines, troop concentrations, and command centers exposed to easier attacks by missiles and artillery. Russia's defenses are failing because they are built to fight the wrong war. Their systems were designed to counter expensive aircraft and cruise missiles, not swarms of cheap, hard-to-track, custom-built drones. The Russian Ministry of Defense can claim they've intercepted dozens, but the visual evidence tells the real story. Massive, raging fires burning across Russia's oil heartland. This is a masterclass in asymmetric warfare, where low-cost precision inflicts hundreds of millions of dollars in irreparable damage, exposing Russia's structural economic weakness. And the psychological cost for Russia is immeasurable. Russian civilians and business owners now understand that the war is no longer a distant affair on their television screens. It is an immediate threat to their daily lives and economic well-being. The financial losses are tangible, and they are compounding. Every day a refinery sits idle is another day of lost export revenue, another day of reduced domestic fuel supply, and one day closer to total economic strangulation. Ukraine's policy of instant strategic retaliation firestorm hundreds of miles away. Ukraine has established a new, undeniable doctrine that resets the rules of engagement. For every violation of international law, there will be an instant, strategic, and financially devastating counterstrike on Russia's economic lifeline. This policy is the ultimate deterrent. It forces the Kremlin to calculate the cost of a missile strike on a residential building as potentially the cost of losing a $500 million refinery. The strategic response to the tragedy in Dnipro proves that the most powerful weapon in this war is not a tank or a missile, but the ability to inflict crippling economic pain on the enemy's heartland. These long-range strikes are systematically dismantling the Russian war machine, piece by piece, and accelerating the war's conclusion. If you understand the strategic genius behind this campaign of instant retaliation, you know this story is far from over. Subscribe and hit the bell for more exclusive, in-depth analysis on the strategic use of long-range strikes. Thank you for watching. It's 10:15 a.m. on a clear, cold Friday morning. Air raid sirens are screaming across Odessa. For the people on the ground, it's another terrifying wave of long-range cruise missile strikes. But what most don't realize is that these attacks no longer come from warships you can see. They come from a silent, invisible threat lurking miles offshore. Russia's Kilo-class submarines. They call them black holes for their incredible stealth. These underwater predators are the most survivable and potent weapon in Russia's Black Sea fleet. They operate completely undetected, unleashing devastating power from the depths. Today, we're going to expose the shocking reality of this underwater menace. But more importantly, we'll reveal the incredible unconventional tactics and off-the-shelf technology Ukraine is using to hunt and neutralize these deep-sea ghosts. The core of this silent threat is Russia's modernized fleet of improved Kilo-class submarines. After Ukraine's relentless drone strikes, most of Russia's surface ships are now trapped in ports like Novorossiysk. This has made submarines the most reliable platform for launching the deadly Kaliber cruise missiles. These subs can fire precision strikes from hidden positions, well outside the range of Ukraine's coastal defenses, effectively turning the entire Black Sea into a concealed missile silo. Since Turkey closed the Bosporus Strait to military vessels, the number of these submarines is fixed, but their operational threat remains constant, making them the ultimate strategic target. When the war began, Ukraine faced a nearly impossible challenge. It had virtually no dedicated high-tech navy for anti-submarine warfare, or ASW. They couldn't rely on expensive Western frigates, so they were forced into a revolution, leveraging low-cost, high-impact commercial off-the-shelf technology, what we call COTS. This strategic pivot meant abandoning old Cold War naval doctrines and embracing a highly decentralized, networked approach. An approach that could cover the vast expanse of the Black Sea without risking expensive, crewed platforms. After all, the cost of a few custom drones is nothing compared to the price of a single Kaliber missile. Ukraine's ingenuity is incredible. They began weaponizing and militarizing commercially available civilian-grade technology. This includes adapting sophisticated hydrophones, which are basically underwater microphones typically used for marine research, and pairing them with advanced digital signal processing. These devices create makeshift, passive listening stations deployed in strategic areas. At the same time, commercial drones, or UAVs, are no longer just for land attacks. They're now used for wide-area maritime surveillance, constantly searching for the subtle telltale signs of a submarine, like a periscope breaking the surface, or a slight, telltale oil slick. This low-cost, persistent patrol network is a brilliant strategic checkmate against Russia's expensive stealth technology. One of the most ingenious tactics involves exploiting the Black Sea's own geography. Submarines, no matter how stealthy, eventually have to return to port or move through predictable areas. Ukraine is focusing its detection efforts on these strategic choke points and known transit routes. Uchishu near occupied Crimea. These areas are seeded with passive acoustic sensors. These hydrophones listen patiently for the unique, faint signatures of diesel engines and the distinct sound of a submarine snorkeling. That's when it uses its engine near the surface to recharge its batteries. By feeding all this acoustic intelligence into a centralized AI analysis system, Ukraine is slowly but surely building a real-time tracking map. They are turning a silent, invisible threat into a predictable, trackable target. Of course, Ukraine isn't doing this entirely alone. The hunt for this ghost fleet is significantly augmented by international intelligence